Imagine it's 9 p.m. on a warm August evening in rural countryside PEI. You're standing at the edge of a stream surrounded by beautiful trees, but it's completely dark outside. You cannot literally see anything. You're holding a device and it's picking up sounds your ears cannot hear. And those sounds are usually echolocation calls from bats. Now, why you should really care about bats? I'll tell you why I started caring. I was working as a watershed restoration technician at the Winter River Watershed for my co-op internship. We were doing basic water quality monitoring, planting trees, removing invasive species, and the kind of hands on conservation work that keeps PEI's rivers and ecosystems functioning. And one day I looked around different activities and realized that nobody was monitoring bats here. And that made me wonder why. Why no organization within our watershed had a bat monitoring program? And that kind of mattered to me because bats are what scientists called as indicator species, and they sit near the top of the food chain in the freshwater ecosystems. They eat the insects that hatch from healthy streams, and when a watershed is actually doing well, bat populations tend to be doing well too. So when, on the other hand, when something goes wrong, like pollution comes in, or habitat loss comes in, or there is a lot of pesticide use on agricultural farming lands, bat populations actually show it. And literature review and research supports that. So often, before we notice it anywhere else, bats show it to us. They are like nature's early warning signs systems. So I did something about it. I reached out to different researchers who helped me source acoustic monitoring equipment, helped me design a survey protocol, and launched a pilot bat monitoring program for my watershed, the first of its kind here. And what I learned through that process was bigger than any data point that I collected through the program. I learned that environmental monitoring doesn't have to be only done by governments or colleges, universities. It can be basically done by community organizations, by students, by farmers, or by anyone who's willing to learn and show up consistency. That's basic idea that I have learned through my university life, learning about citizen science, and it's one of the most powerful tools we have for understanding climate change or environmental change at a local scale. When we talk about PEI specifically, PEI being a very small island, our watersheds are small. Our farming communities are tightly close knitted to each other, and people might consider that as it is disadvantage, whereas it's a huge advantage. As when a watershed group monitors a river, when a farmer notices changes in the field, or when a student launches a bat survey like I did, that local knowledge eventually adds up to the well-being of the community. And when it's organized and shared, it becomes the kind of evidence that shapes policy, protects species, protects the well being, and keeps the overall ecosystem running and functioning, healthy and hearty. So, the bat monitoring project that I started at Winter River is still running. It's a small thing, a few detectors, a few summer evenings of colony count surveys, and a small database that has some data from over past 1 year, but it still represents something important, that the idea of conservation is not just something that happens in labs or government offices. It happens in communities by people who care to care to listen and to act even in the dark.